Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments, and hopefully we'll be able to share some things that will be of benefit to you. I want to talk to you today about the subject of marriage, and well, that's a big subject, isn't it? But there's really a difficulty in America with marriages because 50%, and this has been a statistic that has been pretty consistent through the years, and that is the matter of 50% of our marriages ended up in divorce court. What a shame that is. And just because you're saved doesn't mean that you're immune to this type of a problem, because it's a real problem inside the local church as well as it is outside the local church. We have more people living together. I don't understand people. They say, that's my baby's mama. That's my baby's daddy. Or that's my fiance, as if that's some type of an excuse for you just to shack up. And obviously Jesus is not in favor of it, because you go to John chapter 4, and the woman at the well, he told her she'd been married 5 times and was shacked up with the one she was with then. So apparently the Lord makes it very clear that that's sin and should not be so. So let me talk to you about marriage, if I may, all right? Number 1, schedule and share household duties together. Schedule and share household duties together. You say, well, I work hard. I go to work, and I come home and I just put my feet up, give me some iced tea, and sit back in my lazy boy chair. Because I've worked, boy, I've done my best today. But your wife is 24/7. It's not just a matter of punching in at 8 and out at 5, especially like when we had 4 babies. It doesn't work that way. It's 24/7. And so when you come home, understand that your husband duties, your daddy duties are 24/7. When you work wherever you work at, that's you're employed there. But being the husband is 24/7, just like being the wife is 24/7, just like being the mother is 24/7, just like being the daddy is 24/7. So when you look at this, you're going to have to change your thought process about this matter of marriage. So schedule and share household duties. I do the dishes. I do the laundry. Now, when I first did the laundry, I wish I could have told you I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. But I did it anyway, and ended up with pink underwear. And I said to my wife, "What in the world? How did this happen?" She said, "Well, you putting the colors and the whites together, and that's what's going to happen." I said, "Well, what do I do with this pink underwear?" She said, "You're going to wear it to remind yourself not to do that again." But anyway, you want to share and schedule household duties together. And if you do it together, and again, please understand, when you work somewhere, that I understand that you give them 8 hours, 10 hours, I understand that. But that has nothing to do with the fact that you're married, has nothing to do with the fact other than you got to pay the bills. It has nothing to do with the fact when you're a husband, it's 24/7. When you're a daddy, it's 24/7, just like when she's the mother, is 24/7. She's the wife, is 24/7. So don't look at the fact you bring home the bacon and the paycheck that excuses you from being the husband or the daddy. It doesn't. Number 2, give your wife a weekly household amount of money. Every week, get her the same amount of money every week in the world. That's hers to take care of the household, and make sure she gets it every week. I don't care if you got to forget about your extra money. You make sure she gets hers and takes care of it. Now, if she wants to save out of that to buy a mink coat, that's all right. She can save all she wants to. My wife does that and saves and puts aside for things, and she's able to pay for it. But I give her an amount. Now, we first got married in 1965. Woo, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Abraham Lincoln was president. But when we got married, I gave her $20 a week. We often talk about that, $20 a week. And I remember one week that she needed some extra money, and she prayed for the Lord to give her some extra money. And there was a little radio quiz thing back then, where if this guy showed up at the door with a crown on his head and asked you what the secret word was, if you give it to him, you got a crisp $20 bill. And I remember coming home, she said, the guy showed up at my door. And she, to this day, believes God answered that prayer, but I sent him there. No, I didn't. So schedule and share household duties. Don't forget, the husband, 24/7. Being a father, 24/7. So don't look at the fact that you work a certain amount of hours excuse you from the responsibility of husband and daddy. Number 2, give the wife a set amount every week to run the household on. Number 3, let her manage the house. That's hers. Let her manage it the way she wants to. And you help her, but let her manage it. Let that be her department. Next, give her the best car. Give her the best car. When you get ready to make sure she's got something that's dependable, she'll not break down. Make sure that she's got something that she will get her. And in case of an accident, she'll win. Next, make home a foretaste of heaven. Don't bring your burdens home. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't share things. I'm not saying that at all. But it shouldn't be so heavy and such a big burden that it just ruins the atmosphere. There's nothing wrong with saying, honey, how would you handle this? And talk about it in a sane manner. But don't bring the heavy burdens home. Don't do that. And wife, don't you give the heavy burdens to him. In fact, the truth is, if that kid needs a whipping, mama, you whip him. Don't say to him, you wait till your daddy gets home. My wife never did that. She took care of it. She was a combination of Hitler and Mussolini. But our kids are all serving the Lord, married and faithful, and we're certainly very proud of them. So number 1, schedule and share household duties. Number 2, give the wife a set weekly amount. Number 3, let her manage the house. That's up to her. Let her manage the house. Next, give her the best car that will not break down on her. You give her the best of the car. Make home a foretaste of heaven. It's all right to discuss things, but don't get into a fight about things that really have nothing to do with your relationship at home. Never argue in front of the children. If you got disagreement, get in the car, drive around the block, come back, and there, let it be. Decide, but don't do it in front. Don't let that be the role model. Don't let the daughter say, well, I've got to scream at my husband when I get married, because that's just what wives do. Or don't let the boy say, well, that's like daddy, boy, you just yell and scream, carry on. No, don't do that. Don't be the wrong role model for those kids. Next, rotate church attendance when the children are sick. When the children are sick, you rotate that church attendance. You stay home on Sunday morning, let her go. Then you reverse it Sunday night, and then reverse it Wednesday night. There's no sense in somebody just getting backslid, because God didn't give you those children to keep you from serving God or get backslid on God. God didn't do that. Church attendance is very important for you. Next, do not quit a ministry because of children. If you're in the choir, stay in the choir. You're an usher, stay an usher. You teach a Sunday school class, you be the Sunday school teacher. You drive a bus, you drive the bus. You're the bus captain, be the bus captain. You work it out. You work it out. You be innovative enough to work it out. But don't you quit a ministry because of those children. God may take those children away from you so you'll have time to do his work. Now, don't do that now. Do not quit a ministry because of the children. Next, speak well of in-laws. Speak well of in-laws. Don't say to her, boy, you sound just like your mama. Don't say to him, boy, you sound just like your daddy. Don't do that. Next, win souls together. Win souls together. When we were up north, the first church that we pastored was a heavy Catholic area. My wife was raised Catholic. And in fact, 20-some miles away in Momence, Illinois, is where that church was. Chineke, the priest, he wrote the book 50 Years in the Church of Rome. And that's where all of that took place. And because heavy Catholic, but because of that, my wife would sometimes take the forward approach in a meeting with a couple. One of the best deacons we had, and one of the best couples we had up north were Catholics. And I couldn't get to first base with them, but Mrs. Gray did, because she had that Catholic background. So win souls together. Next, listen to each other. Listen to each other. Whoever told you that marriage was 50-50? That guy's in divorce court today. No marriage is 100-100. She is not your daughter. She's not your maid. She's your wife. Where you are strong, she's weak. Where she is strong, you're weak. And you complement each other. And in the scripture, in Ephesians chapter 5 and chapter 6, God comes to the follower first before he comes to the leader. In the husband-wife relationship, guess to whom God comes to first? The wife. And he says, submit, or English word for adapt. Then he comes to the husband. Chapter 6, verse 1 and 2, he comes to the child first. Then he comes to the parent. In chapter 6, he comes to the employee first. Then he comes to the employer. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1, he comes to the church member first. Then to the pastor. You hold in your hand as the follower the future of that relationship. And God comes to the power in the relationship, and that's the power of the follower. You vote to keep soul winning alive at your church by being there or not being there. You vote to keep the doors open by your tithes and your offerings. Do you understand? You vote to keep Wednesday night Bible study open just by your very presence. Power's in your hand, make or break it. You're going to make or break Sunday night church. If you don't go, you're voting by absentee ballot. You're voting not to have it. So please understand, you need to listen to each other and ask you. Sometimes you ought to say, honey, what do you think this verse means? That might be good if you had a Bible discussion in your marriage. And let her ask you, honey, what does this mean? Now, you may not know. Well, go dig it out and find out. My wife would, when her health was good, she'd teach the ladies meetings, and then she'd run something by me every once in a while. And I said, wow, that was good. I'd write it down. I'm going to weave that in a sermon one of these days. And I did. And it's amazing the things that God will give both of you by you working together. All right, let's back up, see what we learned. Marriage, we're talking, this is Ministry Moments, talking about marriage. All right, schedule and share household duties. Husband, you earn the money, bring it home, but that doesn't mean your husband duties cease just because you made the money. You're an employee, but the husband part's 24/7. The wife part's 24/7. The daddy part's 24/7. The mother part is 24/7. Number 2, give the wife a weekly household money, an exact amount every week. Number 3, let her manage the house. That's hers. Let her manage it. Number 4, give her the best car. Something will not break down. She can go ahead and take care of what she needs to take care of. Make home a foretaste of heaven. Don't come home and bring all the heavy stuff home. You take care of the heavy stuff. You carry the heavy load. But discuss things with each other. I think that's good. Never argue in front of the children. If you're upset about something, get in the car, ride around the block, and then come back. But don't do it in front of the kids. Rotate church attendance when the children are sick. Don't everybody stay home, have the wife stay home for 2 weeks because the kids got the mumps or something. No, you trade off. All right. Do not quit a ministry because of the children. Stay in the choir. Keep being the Sunday school teacher. You keep being the usher, the bus driver, the bus captain. You stay busy for God, the altar worker. You keep doing your job. Speak well of in-laws. Do not run your mother-in-law down. Do not run your father-in-law down. Don't do it. Well, you sound just like you. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Next, win souls together. Win souls together. Next, listen to each other. There are going to be things that will help you if you'll listen to each other. You know, to have an intelligent, common sense sit down and discuss things is going to be good for you. What do they say? Communication, the biggest problem in marriage, communication. So I hope this helped you. This is Ministry Moments. We're talking about that of marriage, and I hope that you've taken good notes on this. Lord willing, we'll meet every Friday, 3 o'clock, Facebook Live. We'll meet Central Time, 3 o'clock on YouTube, Solve Church Problems, YouTube, and then go to Ministry Moments and subscribe. And I hope you'll do it. I hope you'll join us every week. And God bless you. Thank you for being a part, and thank you for your prayers for Mrs. Gray. Mrs. Gray's home. As you know, she fell and broke 2 legs, and we've got to go see the surgeon this week. And we're hoping that the x-rays will show some good mending there. But boy, it's difficult when you got 2 broken legs. I don't know how in the world she keeps her sanity. But anyway, keep your soul. I know the coronavirus, the COVID-19, I understand all of that. But you still go out and go shopping. You still go out and go for a walk. Well, you'll meet people that you've never even met before. You take time to give them the gospel, and just keep soul winning going. Just keep it going. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you again next week for Ministry Moments, 3 o'clock Central Time every Friday.